Okay, let's unpack this story. It's quite serious. We're talking about TikTok influencer Emilie Kiser.
That's right, known online as @emilie_kiser.
And the news involves her 3-year-old son, Trigg. Reports say he was found unconscious in their backyard pool.
Yeah, this happened in Chandler, Arizona, apparently on Monday, near Gilbert and Riggs Roads, according to the source.
So, for this deep dive, our mission is really to understand the details, right? Just based on what's reported.
Exactly. We're working from one source here. A news article from the Express Tribune, dated May 15th, 2025. We want to stick to the facts presented there.
No speculation, just what the article says.
Precisely. And look at what makes this particular news item noteworthy based on that text alone.
Okay, so Emilie Kiser. The article paints her as a 23-year-old social media personality.
A pretty big one. Over 3.1 million TikTok followers.
Though, interestingly, there's already a note about a comment disputing her age, suggesting she might be 26.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the article frames her as this young influencer known for, lifestyle content, cleaning videos.
Family vlogs, too, right? Featuring her husband, Brady, and their kids.
That's right. The article mentions a newborn daughter, Eloise.
But the comment disputes that, too. Says it's a boy named Teddy.
It does. So some immediate inconsistencies there. And of course, her son, Trigg, who's central to this tragic event.
Okay, so let's look at the timeline the article lays out. It happened on Monday.
Right. A distress call comes in. Chandler Police Department responds first.
And they find Trigg unconscious?
Yes. Pulled from the pool. They immediately start CPR.
Okay. Then the fire department arrive.
Chandler Fire Department, yeah. They take over care, get him to Chandler Regional Hospital.
And from there, because his condition was so serious...
He was airlifted to Phoenix Children's Hospital, which, indicates the severity.
The article actually includes the quote from the Chandler Fire Department.
Oh, yeah. What does it say?
It says, Chandler PD arrived on the scene first and found an unconscious 3-year-old boy who was pulled from the backyard pool. Officers began CPR, and firefighters took over patient care upon arrival.
Wow. That really underscores the urgency of the situation they walked into.
Definitely. Now, about identifying the child. This is interesting.
Yeah, the article is careful to note that officially, neither Kiser nor the authorities have confirmed it's Trigg.
But online...
Online, particularly among her followers, it seems widely assumed to be him.
Because he's in her videos a lot, her firstborn.
Exactly. People recognize him.
Yeah.
It speaks to that feeling of connection followers develop, those parasocial relationships we sometimes talk about. You feel like you know them.
That makes sense. People feel invested. So her online presence itself, 3.1 million followers, is huge.
It is. And nearly 500 million likes.
Yeah.
That shows massive engagement. People are really watching.
The article mentions her last post was, 2 days before this article came out, around May 13th?
Yeah, relatively recent to the incident.
And it even describes one recent post.
It does. Gives an example, apparently a lighthearted one. Caption was something like, IDK what happened last night, but I'm not mad ED, with crying, laughing emojis.
Wow. And lots of hashtags like hashtag morning routine, hashtag mom soft TikTok, hashtag family.
Hashtag newborn mom, hashtag self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah, typical lifestyle content. It's just such a stark contrast, isn't it?
He really is the everyday online persona versus this terrible real-life event.
And predictably, the article notes that since the news broke, her comment sections have been flooded.
With supportive messages, right?
Yeah, an outpouring of support and concern. It shows how these online communities can, mobilize.
Mm-hmm. The article also adds a small detail. The family recently moved back to Arizona from Utah, where her husband was in college.
Just a bit of background context provided there.
But importantly, the article stresses that as of its publication date, May 15th, there was no official word from the family.
Correct. No statement from Emilie Kiser or anyone close to her, which often happens in these initial stages, but it also fuels, speculation.
And that brings us back to that comment on the article itself.
Right. The one by Alexis Dobbins, posted just hours before the article went up.
And it directly contradicts the article on a couple of points.
Yeah, it claims Kiser is 26, not 23, and that the newborn is a boy named Teddy, not a girl named Eloise.
It's quite striking to see that kind of immediate correction or conflicting information right there alongside the main report.
It really highlights how messy information can be, especially in breaking news situations online. Details get contested almost instantly.
It shows you have to be, Careful with initial reports. Things can change, details get clarified later.
Absolutely. It's a reminder about the process of news gathering and verification, which isn't always instantaneous.
The article also lists a bunch of other headlines from around that time, just sort of gives a snapshot of the world news.
Yeah, things about like U.S. spending, fighter jets, India-Pakistan tensions, various global stuff.
Puts the Kaiser story in the context of everything else happening, I guess. But obviously, those aren't our focus here.
No, we're zeroed in on the details provided about this specific incident involving Emily Kaiser's son.
Okay, so let's try to summarize what we've learned just from this one Express Tribune article.
All right.
We know that Emily Kaiser's 3-year-old son, Trigg, was reportedly found unconscious after a drowning incident at their home pool in Arizona on Monday.
He's in critical condition, was airlifted to Phoenix Children's after initial response, and CPR by police and fire departments.
While it's not officially confirmed he's the child involved, social media users widely believe it's him.
Emily Kaiser herself is described as a major TikTok influencer. 23, according to the article, known for lifestyle and family content.
And there's been a huge wave of support online for her and her family since the news emerged.
Crucially, though, there are already inconsistencies noted, even within the source context, like her reported age and details about her newborn, challenged by a commenter.
And importantly, no official statement from the family at the time the article was published.
And we have to stress again, this is all based purely on the information within that single May 15th article. We've noted the discrepancies found right there in the source material.
Right. So maybe a final thought for you listening. Consider how quickly personal and especially tragic news spreads now, often through unofficial channels, way before any official statements.
Yeah, think about that immediate public reaction and the complex relationship between those curated online lives we see and the often harsh, unpredictable realities people face offline.
It raises questions, doesn't it, about how we consume and react to this kind of deeply personal information when it surfaces in the digital world, something to mull over.